I think
There was that moment though.
I think a big one for me was for Swim for some reason. I don't know why that moment always stands out, but we were in there. We found a kind of basis of a beat from a producer that we listened to, and we completely changed it, added some nice surfy guitar into it. Yeah. And then I remember being outside, and Mitchell just came out and was like, "What about Swim?" And I was like, "What about Swim?" I was like, "What you mean?" What about Swim? And it started like doing the and I was like,
Swim.
And then we went back in it, and like first take he just did it, and I just straight away then I remember being like that feeling of just like, wow, that guy just fucking came outside, said Swim, and then went back in there and made a really sick song out of it. So I thought that's always been a cool moment for me.
Thank you.
When you blew it.
And you blew it. And then you blew it.
And then you blew it.
I don't know if you'd say like a cool, like inspiring moment, but an interesting moment for sure was when we made the Don't Try This EP. We were on tour at the time, and we pretty much recorded most of the vocals in a bus. And at one point we were actually on a ferry late night between London and France.
Yeah.
And we were trying to find spots on the boat where people weren't sleeping. We had to find our own little like corridor on this ferry.
2 a.m.
Yeah, and we set up the little found a little wall outlet plug and like set up the laptop, little acoustic ball and the mic and like literally the interface, and just sat down on the ground and recorded.
I had to write down the second verse, and then we just recorded.
It was for Devilish as well, which is one of the ones you mentioned.
Like the lyrics are pretty.
You got Mitchell at 2 a.m. screaming, "I'm devilish!" like on this ferry.
People on the boat, like
in the corner of the ferry, like people were walking past, like barely anyone speaking English, and
we had a friend watching the door in case anybody came past.
Yeah, like we set up the studio in the corner of the ferry for like 30. We had like 30 minutes to do it. We just pumped it out. We got what we needed.
People would have been like, "What is he talking about? What is he yelling about? That guy, man."
We only had a couple takes, so we had to get it down. But I feel like the best music makers in history. I've always been a little nerdy. Even you look at like Biggie, like he was a little nerdy, bro. Like he had this big tough persona, but like he was kind of like a little bit of a sweetheart deep down. You know what I mean? There's so many moments. I remember when we wrote Green, Green, Green. I was like just in the park, just caught a flight back to Australia, and then just literally without even sleeping walked into the park, wrote that one down, and never really expected anything from it. And then it just turned like one of my favorite songs.
Yeah, it's a cool song.
And then I think for the last record, for Phases, there was a moment when we got in, we just worked on the first one, and we started making Too Late. I think that was the first song we made for Phases.
The first one,
yeah. And then we kind of got that feeling again of like, oh shit, like we still got it.
Yeah, the first one back in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
We could do like 10 crazy stories just in Florida. Deaths, yeah. 10 just crazy stories about Florida.
Florida, man, it's cursed. Every time we go there, like I'm pretty sure our bus has caught fire over 3 times.
Yeah, bus is catching fire.
We got stopped for human trafficking.
Yeah. Which turns out we weren't actually doing, can you believe it?
Which I was surprised to know. I was sure we were.
Oh, yeah, well, then we must be human trafficking.
Yeah, we went into a McDonald's once, like a drive-through, because they only had the drive-through, had this huge bus. It's like 3 a.m, so we just like walk through the McDonald's, and then like 3 or 4 police cars just pull up on us because there had been a robbery there, so they were all, hands up. It's usually just Florida, like us getting in trouble, but what else? What's else?
To be fair, there's some dark moments too. Like I remember when we started the Phases tour, the first 2 or 3 shows were pretty. After we'd finished the show, there'd been like a
shooting.
In Philadelphia, like there was a shooting right across the road from us, like in a crowd of people that we were a part of.
Loading.
And we had kind of had to like quickly get out of there, while that was happening. And then the night before that in Pittsburgh,
right in front of us,
a drunk driver had hit someone right in front of our bus again. And then kept driving.
Yeah,
just so much crazy shit that you see out there on the road. Like,
yeah,
real life experiences getting thrown at you left, right, and center.
There's obviously magical moments too, but you just tend to focus on like those insane ones.
Yeah, like it's the good moments and the shit ones. Everything in between is a big blur.
I mean, playing in New York City, like in Webster Hall, sold out on a Tuesday. That was a cool feeling.
I love
Yeah.
it.
It was a great venue. Our parents had flown out from Australia to watch that show, so that was a fun moment.
And we did House of Blues in Chicago, which was amazing.
Yeah.
That the whole
It's right next to the Bean. Went down to the Big Bean.
That floor
the
just
whole
that floor
building
bounces.
shakes.
Yeah.
It's like an old building.
That's how you know you got a good
Yeah.
you got a good crowd.
Right.
If the building's shaking, then you got a good crowd.
Right next to the lake as well. Oh, the river. Sorry, I love
Yeah,
Chicago.
it's beautiful.